Oh, Mike hasn't even seen the new mic yet. I didn't do that. That wasn't on purpose. Have you seen this thing yet?
What?
Look at this thing.
Oh, the SM7B, baby.
Yeah, dude. I knew you would like it.
Legit.
Yeah, I'm gonna get. Yeah, this first round, dude.
Hell yeah.
I got a new mic for Mike's podcast. Look at that. I just did that one. I did on purpose, cat. that one I did on purpose. This thing, we're good. Do you need to adjust anything? Are we good? Do you need to adjust? You can take the time to adjust if you need to adjust. All right, let's do this thing. Take it 3, 2, 1.
3, 2, 1. Action.
You talking to me? I'm talking to you. And this is Talking to Me, Talking to You. And I got Mike Heffron here, my friend. How you doing, brother?
I'm good, man. What's up?
Dude, nice to see you. I just seen you this morning, actually. You dropped a podcast, and I watched the whole thing.
You watched the whole thing already?
I watched the whole thing.
It was a pretty short one.
30 minutes, man. I like it.
What'd you think?
I liked it. You guys really digged into you're starting to research the shit you're talking about a lot, I can tell. Like, you're really digging into it. I like that.
We're trying a little harder because some people that are knowledgeable about the things that we just kind of like toss out, they come in and we're like, oh, that's interesting.
Because you guys have like a more like, I won't want to call it like news, but you do have like the topics of the day, like of the time, like relevant to like the world, I guess, or at least American culture. And you guys talk about them and have your opinions about them. So it's very cool. I like it. You know, I mean, I like you guys a lot, so I watch it. You know.
Well, we're struggling with like the whole guest thing.
Yeah.
So we pretty much just end up talking about like whatever's going on.
Yeah, we've
kind of
talked
giving
about
our
that
takes.
before. Yeah, for sure. And well, I like it though, man. I mean, you know, you got to do what you got to do. I did notice that your camera looks a lot better in this one.
Yeah, I switched to a diff. No, I'm starting to use my actual like production camera.
To get
So before we've been using this like camcorder.
Yeah,
that I had,
is
it
that
has
what
no
the lighting
recording
actually
on it,
looks like in your room? Like when you're doing the podcast, is it like whiter light like that, or is it still
it's really
pink and
purple?
Really?
Yeah.
So that's crazy that's catching that kind of lighting.
But it
isn't white light.
Because I guess like the camcorder we use is a Canon.
Yeah.
And then my production camera is a Sony, so it's like the Canon seems to saturate that purple color, like way more than it really is.
Yeah.
Because when you're just in there, it seems like more of a hint, like a hue.
Just a little
to
bit.
it.
Okay, so it is like just a little bit, and like to the naked eye.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So you've been doing it. You guys it's 22 episodes.
22.
So
22 now,
dude. We were just talking about before the podcast how like like a lot of people will start doing stuff, spend a bunch of money on equipment and whatever, and then just kind of give up after a while. But dude, here we are, man. You were going strong.
We're not quitters,
We're going
dude.
strong, dude.
We don't quit.
I love it, dude. And that's what, dude. And that's a whole nother conversation. Just like, if you're gonna decide to put your time and effort into something, just keep doing it, because sooner or later you're gonna get better at it, and you're gonna learn about yourself and the project, no matter what it is. Like, there's so many. Like, I was a cook for 6 months, man, and I learned so much just about being an adult. Cooking.
You've been talking to Ben, so
he knows
he's like a scientist with it.
He's getting on a good diet recently. He said he's like cut sugar out. So he's starting to
going keto, doing keto thing.
I'm not sure exactly.
Maybe not full keto, but like
he's cutting sugar out, and he says that he
feels
feels like 10 times better already. Like, he says like his inflammation in his body's cut down like in half.
I believe it, dude. Sugar's like the number one thing that just like traps you in a place, dude. Yeah, brain fog. You can't lose weight. People are like, man, I've been working out, I just can't lose weight. It's like, well, if you eat a ton of sugar, it's just gonna
suck you dry, man.
Yeah, it holds right in there.
So, but I said, like, so you're 22 episodes in your podcast. So what is it like now? Like, what are your perspective now from when you started doing it to like now? Like, because you did take a little, like, there was a week break that you had where you guys didn't drop a video, or was it 2 weeks?
Yeah.
Week or two.
Well, I mean, we try to work around our schedules.
You're busy. You're busy, dude. I mean,
and Nick
so
too.
much.
Nick plays a lot. So yeah, and I know you just talked to them when they were playing out at Barstock Sunday Drives. Shout out Sunday Drives, of course.
I wasn't feeling the best that day, but I was really, really trying to like bring in that energy to like showcase like people. Like, I know I had like my moments where I was like, but I really tried to take it in. I mean, I bought this candle. Look at this candle.
Oh, nice.
I got that from there. I bought it from the vendor. It was like an Airstream.
You got to get a zoom in shot of that for sure.
Oh yeah, we'll pop in on that. Do you know?
Like
it was in an old it was like a Airstream shop. You know, like an old Airstream.
Yeah, the aluminum trailers.
Yeah. It was one of those. It was like a shop, and so I bought that. I bought a pen at first, and I kind of felt bad because I was like, "Hey, how much are your T-shirts?" And they're like $25. I'm like, "Damn, I don't have $25 to get a T-shirt." So I got a pen for like $3, and I'm like, you know. It is what it is. And then I got outside, started talking to her, the lady more that was running the shop, and I seen that, and I'm like, how much for that? She's like, oh, well, they're on clearance for $10. I'm like, that's exactly how much I would spend for a candle.
Cha-ching, here we go.
So look at that. Got a new little addition to the podcast. But it was fun there, man. Like, you know, like I said, I really did try to showcase that stuff because, I mean, dude, like your brother, Adam, Noah Smith, I met Mike Waters there, or Matt Waters.
Matt Waters, yeah.
Dude, such good people, man. Like, they're just there to do their thing, and that's what I like mostly about them. Like, we kind of set up our little station, and then everyone kind of flowed over to it because it's just like, oh, what are you guys doing? And I love that, man. And even
especially musicians too. We see the microphones and the lights and the cameras, and we're like, what's happening over here? We got to investigate.
And I like that, man. I like that kind of enthusiasm and spirit about it all. You know, I had some real conversations with people. You know, obviously I did my thing, kind of tried to. So what are you doing today? I got to find a flow for it.
Yeah.
It's different than this. It's much different.
I mean, definitely. You know, you're out your element. It's not exactly like it's not really long form because you're kind of just like moving them through,
like
you know,
2-3
churning
minutes,
and burning,
you know,
right?
Boom, boom.
Yeah, and I've been thinking about doing a new show as well that just focuses on like really short style production. Yeah, you know, like instead of doing a whole podcast with like a guest that is long, it's just like something that's like 5 minutes,
yeah,
4 minutes.
Well, that's good.
Like that.
I had an idea for a segment too. Is kind of similar in like the quickness idea, like just like gets out like what I'm doing and where I've been at, like because I say it all here anyways, but like it's kind of like the highlights of it. Like I went to Barnstock, I did this, right? I talked to this person, we're gonna be doing a video like this, just kind of something like that, you know. But to mostly push other people, like obviously, like that's what the whole point of this is. Well, right. So it's to do that, but also.
But if you did like a vlog thing, man,
talk about it, man.
Because I mean,
I don't know, man. See,
it could be behind the scenes of all like the movies you're working on. It could be going to Barnstock. It could be doing the pot. Like you do a lot of stuff.
You're so right.
And when you do a lot of stuff, that's when vlogs become a little more interesting than just day to day.
Yeah, and so you do those. You do the vlogs. And dude, they're fucking awesome. Like, dude, this is so crazy about like I watch those as well. So I
try to keep them interesting.
I take them in, dude.
'Cause I do a lot of stuff as well, but there's some weeks where I'm literally just like it's just editing.
It's what
you can't just have 10 minutes of me like clicking around on computers and stuff. So
and it just
that's when I kind of switched into more of like the talking head kind of situation.
And I seen like it was the first few videos you kind of were like we're doing that, but I like like I said, you had a cinematic style the first podcast with like and storytelling aspects into it, but like dude, like as I'm watching them, like I fucking love your themes, like what you're really talking about, like you're trying to, because I know you as a dude, like a person, like we'll talk and just banter and talk about nothing for a while. But when you do these vlogs, you really are good at pinpointing what the fuck you're talking about. Like you really get your message across. Like this is what I learned this week. This is what you can learn with me this week.
I feel like if you, especially,
I'm one of those people.
If it's
learn
something,
with
you can either make a vlog that's like, if you're documenting. Yeah, that's one thing. Yeah, but if you like I said, like if there's nothing really to document, where it's like this week I worked on my computer and I wrote like emails and treatments, like it's just too boring. So then you have to really lock into a specific topic to really deliver that info. And I mean anyone that's like any bands or brands or anything like that, I think it's so important to kind of like really refine the message. You know, because if you put out something but it's not quite clear what you're telling or asking of someone, they don't really know what to think about it, so they're not going to come back for more. They're like, I don't even understand exactly what this is.
Well, and I will say, like, dude, I feel that because I have a problem with that myself. I feel like as real, like besides our movies, I think we convey our movies very well. But like when I'm in front of the camera trying to convey things to people, this is what you get. You get this long, sporadic story about fucking nothing until I get to the point. And that's where this format works for me because I can kind of do that. But what I was gonna say, man, is like your point. It's so funny because like the points that you make to the last one you just did, I think was like aspect ratio. You talked about that a lot.
Yeah, yeah.
Dude, it's so fucking funny. Me and you are on the same wavelength. Like when I see your vlogs go up, I'm thinking about that shit within the last 2 weeks. Like I've thought about it.
It's strange. Like you're not the first person to tell me this.
I've done, and dude, and I think that's just creatives. Like, because a lot of us are still learning, especially people we all know.
I mean, you should never stop learning, you know?
Yeah,
everyone is should be constantly like hungry for information.
Yeah, and I think we're starting to reach into that pocket of like, we've developed our skills enough that we're becoming those professionals that we looked up to previously, you know? And I think that's inevitably what it is. And that's what I mean. Like you're starting to fulfill that, man. Cause I've known you for years. You've always been a well-developed person. You've had your band, your music, you know how to advertise yourself and all that shit. But you're starting to like, this is what I'm trying. I'm gonna become an entrepreneur. I'm gonna become a business model. I'm gonna do all these things that I've been doing, but like I'm gonna make it successful. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Because I'm a big kind of even going back to what we were talking about before is like I'm a huge believer in experiencing things and just tasting things. Yeah, you know, like if someone does decide, hey, I want to do a podcast, and they buy all this stuff, and like you do it for a little bit, but like maybe it's not for you.
But you probably learn some,
and
shit
that's
from
fine.
it.
But yeah, and if anything, you learn that maybe I don't want to do a podcast after all. You know, and then sell all the stuff, and then buy the new thing, and do the new thing, and do the new thing, and do the new thing, but. I've done so many things now because I've like kind of always jumped, you know, and it's funny to me because I see guys that I know, like I used to work in the circus, but this was like over 10 years ago now, but I still am friends with a lot of those people on Facebook, and they are still to this day making balloon animals and doing the stilt thing and stuff like that. And it's like mind boggling to me. I'm like, whoa, I've done like so many other things. I'm just way too ADD. Hey, like I'll try something,
master none,
and yeah, basically. You know,
literally, that's another example. Like when you made that vlog, I thought of that. I said that on my podcast within the same time frame.
I mean, I feel like if you want it, there's a certain type of job, like
it's connected.
Right? The universe is mysterious, collective consciousness. You know,
it makes me feel good, man. I like it.
Yeah, and I mean, I just like seeing people doing stuff too. Yeah, because that's the thing.
What they want to do, like.
Yeah, or even just trying something, you know? Like, I see a lot of friends starting podcasts, and I'm like, hell yeah.
Dude,
at least do
me too,
it, you know?
Like,
don't just talk about doing it. At least, like, try it. If it doesn't work, who cares? Like, no one's going to be like, oh, you're the guy with the failed podcast, you know, for the rest of your life. No one's going to remember.
And as a person
so
that, like, as a content consumer, like, I like and dislike a lot of shit that I see from people. You're not always going to be on par. I know when people watch my stuff every time that they're not going to like it. You know, and that's fine.
It's all about the audience.
That honestly, because I want people to, hey man, I didn't like this. Well, why didn't you like that? Oh, well, here's my reason. I'm like, well, okay, man, I can see what you're talking about, maybe. Or I don't see what you're talking about.
Most of the time, no one will say anything, though. That's the weird thing that people got to remember. Like, especially people that are creating content. Yeah. Like, especially they're just getting into it. They're like, oh, man, I tried it, but, like, no one responded. No one ever saw it. It's like, now people are seeing it. Yeah. They just don't say anything about it.
Yeah. Dude, and going to Barnstock, exact experience. Like, Matt Water was like, dude, I love your programming. And I'm like, you've seen my shit,
but you never would know. It's not like he's in the comments every time, but he's seen him.
And he don't. And people may not watch every episode, but dude, they see a clip. If they see a little like 2-minute thing of the full podcast or of your music video or of whatever you do, that's the point of why you're doing it. So speaking of like you talking about like just people getting started with doing something, you decided to take a step in starting like a multimedia business. And so I just kind of I've seen a lot of it. I've seen your website. Website looks very good, by the way.
Thank you.
Is it TiyamiMedia.com?
Tiyami. Yeah, TiyamiMedia.com.
Media.com. Okay. Yeah. So check that out. It looks nice. Did you create that yourself?
Yeah.
So I thought so. Yeah. I thought so. Look, dude, you were literally like getting into so many aspects of it, man. It's unbelievable, and it's very compelling.
But it's not the first, you know, because I built all my band websites, and I built websites for other companies I worked in and stuff like that. Yeah. The thing with like my position, like my job, the reason I even wanted to start this one is because like you gather so many skills from so many things. Yeah. And you're like, what job can I really use all these? And it's really this one, especially like Tiyami Media. Like our real goal is being able to take anyone's brand, anyone's band, anyone's art, and be able to streamline the messaging to really impact people.
Yeah, for sure.
Because everyone's audience is different.
That's
like,
what it's about.
It's not like nothing is one size fits all.
Yeah.
And people are very typically like, oh, music video, here's a light, here's a thing. It's like, yeah, but who's watching the music video? You know, it's like rap videos don't look like death metal videos.
Not at all.
There's a reason. But if you did one that did look like one, it would be like an artistic choice, almost in like an ironic twist, you know, and that's where art becomes into it.
Yeah. Concept
and I don't
reality.
consider myself like a director or like a artist in that way. It's like I'm really here to like refine the visual, give you guys the absolute best,
create the art for the person's image and their concept.
Right.
Thought.
Basically, it's like it's from the audience. It's all for the audience.
Yeah.
You know, it's like because that's really when I was in a band. That was like it takes a while to figure that out.
You're playing
at first,
for them.
It's all about your music and the message, and that's important. But until you start considering how the audience feels, which is weird to think that a lot of musicians like that is like an afterthought.
Yeah.
Like they play their show, but they aren't really considering the experience the audience is actually having at the show, which is you would think that'd be kind of the point,
most important
right? You
thing.
know? No, it's actually a rare thing. Only bands like maybe 50% that really take that into account at every show, but those are the ones that tend to have bigger crowds, because they're taking that into account.
And I want to touch back on the music in a second, but so like you said, like that's your goal for that company specifically. So what because I noticed you're doing a lot of videography, like just like you're really starting to learn how to capsulate that job specifically. So what? And is that based off of you creating this company, knowing that you were going to try to formulate those kind of relations and jobs, or did you just decide, hey, this is basically a part of everything, I need to start like videoing everything?
Video is number one.
Yeah.
I mean, right now at least, video is like everybody needs it.
Yeah.
I don't really care like who you are. Like if you're a plumbing company, like you need a video. Like everybody does. But especially when I was in bands, the hardest part was getting video content. If you don't have a camera, if you can't make it, trying to find people that do was actually like kind of difficult.
It's like finding a bassist in Cincinnati.
Right. But the thing is, you can find them, but then you start working with them and you're like, man, it's like you give them your whole vision for this thing and then you get this other thing on the other end and you're like, damn. So it's really, you know, finding a working relationship is difficult.
And so that's what kind of went into this business idea, is like you experienced that a lot, and so you felt like I need to be the person to be able to convey people's ideas.
It's like an empathetic pain that I remembered is like I was an artist investing this money into like video content and then not quite getting the result that I was looking for. It's like, well, okay, what if I just switch roles and now I can provide the optimal result?
Fuck yeah, dude. I love that.
It's all a stream too. And even artists a lot of times, like even going back to sort of the you think people don't see you, but they do.
Yeah.
Like the purpose of putting up show flyers. People think like, oh, we put up all these flyers for the show, but no one came. It's like, yeah, but the purpose of the flyer is not that show. It's for the next show and the next show and the next show. Because you'll meet someone and they'll be like, you're in what band? Oh, I've heard of that band. Not sure how. Maybe because I put flyers up everywhere. You know,
bro. Literally at Barnstock, I was talking to Adam, and I was like, man, we're from the same area. I'd heard of Sunday drives for probably at this point in my life, probably about 9, 8, 10 years. I've heard about it. It wasn't until about 4 years ago that I seen him. I'm like, dude, I've heard about you. Right. Now I know you. And then now knowing him is just such a better blessing, like, because the dude's such a good, artistic, supportive person.
Oh, dude, he's a maverick.
It's awesome.
Like he's an amazing individual.
And like, you know, I try to take inspiration from everybody like that, you know, and like him specifically about the supportive, like, you know, showcasing. And that's where, like, again, this kind of idea spawned from. So I want to get back to your music though, because you have kind of stopped playing music, it seems like, at least out as like an original band, because you still play with your brother out at bars and stuff, like doing the duo thing. I
still play stuff
of
like
course
that.
I'm sure you guys are never gonna stop doing that.
No,
not
unless we're getting like some.
I appreciate
till the hands stop working.
I like that, because you guys are awesome together. So, because I've seen Infinity Spree play, and so do you have anything planned for the future to dabble back into the music? I know you're busy right now. Obviously.
not necessarily as like a full-fledged project on its own, but I am working more into like basically kind of writing music for video and stuff like that. So more doing like not stock audio, but like original, basically like scoring, like film scoring and stuff like that.
Yeah, we do that. That's exactly what we do.
Yeah,
dude, I made the song to this little boom, boom. I made that on my iPhone.
Another thing about being multi-talented, you know, it's like you got the video. What about the audio? Oh, I do that too.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. And Dylan's normally our guy for like our movies. And
he's the keyboard player.
Yeah, keyboard player for Starless.
Right.
Yeah, the metal band.
Yeah.
So he does a lot of our scores for most of our movies. I've done, I think, Caden, how many have I done scores for?
You've done about 5 or 6.
I've done about 4, 5, or 6 scores myself. But
That's dope. I didn't know that.
Dylan's way better. Like he's a musical mastermind. If you haven't ever like really talked to him, go watch one of the podcasts, and we talk about like
I gotta check it out. I've met him a couple times, but I never like
I actually got
a
one
chance
coming
to sit
up
and talk with him or anything like
soon,
that.
So I got one coming up with him soon. So you could we talk about all that shit. It's really he's a brainiac when it comes to music, man. He can just make up any type of music, anything, man. Like he's the perfect like person to make scores for us.
Those guys they blow my mind. You know,
I'm back from our first.
That's when I met him.
Yeah, that's when I met him. Yeah, dude. And but he does that, and so I do more like the synthy, wow, just really, and like kind of just get like weird sound effects.
But even going back, you were saying like I've known about Starless for a long time. I've never seen him.
Yeah, but marketing.
But he could play a show. They could play a show, and like they're like, oh man, not a lot of people even know who we are because there's no one here. It's like. No, a lot of people know who you are.
They know who
They
you
just
are.
never seen you. It just hasn't quite clicked, you know.
And it will, and that's the thing. It always will. Like people, like keep doing it till they have to pay attention,
right?
Because they will have to pay attention sooner or later. Because you'll get good,
yeah,
and you will become the thing you're trying to do.
Or it depends on your goal. It's like even doing like the podcast. It's like, do we get crazy views, like thousands of things, you know?
I get 20, 30 views on this motherfucker on YouTube every time. That's it.
Right.
That's fine.
For other people, that would just be like, wow, I'm a failure.
Sucks. I suck.
No one ever sees it.
But you know what else I get? When I'm out in public, people go, dude, I love your fucking show.
Right.
I think it's great. I love what you're trying to do.
And then you got to ask yourself the questions like, did you do it for views?
No.
Right.
Not at all.
So that's when it
Never,
doesn't.
dude.
The people that quit are the ones that did it for the views.
For the clout.
And Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they don't get that. And then they're like, well, I don't want to do this anymore. Do something else to get clout. That's fine. There's plenty of other things you can do.
Dude.
But when you actually like doing it, the views don't really matter.
They don't.
Because it's like, it's not the goal.
It's about the people.
It'd be nice, you know, don't get me wrong.
And
but,
so you talk about, I can't wait until you get guests on your podcast, because I do think that you are a better like speaker and convey your thoughts way fucking better than I do.
No way, dude.
I'm pretty decent. I'm getting better. I am getting better at it because of this.
Well, you hit all the angles, you know.
I try to. I'm like, it's a thing, man. It's a formula we're trying to smack here, and like, but dude, I really feel like once you get guests and you can ask them the questions, because one of the questions I asked you about the music, that was something that somebody asked me, but I feel like you would ask all the questions that other people want to hear. You know what I mean? Like, because I don't know. That's just my belief.
We'll see. I guess.
I just believe in you, man. I think that
I'm just excited to have guests because I like the format.
It's fun. And this is kind of like, for me doing it, that's what it's about. It's about like, let's talk about you, because like, I can talk about me, but like, they're gonna see me every time. Sooner or later, they're gonna hear what I say along with what the person is saying. Yeah. And all the people that are fans of the person sitting here will come by and see what I'm doing. And then like, it's all like, it's a continuous networking thing that just works for itself at some point.
And you get to explore so many other topics that are interesting. You know, it's like you talk to musicians, you talk to chefs, you talk to film creators, like you name it.
I used to be much more of a judgmental, like, artist type of person, but like starting this up and like understanding like the scene of everything and like wanting stuff to be successful, because that's what makes it all kind of, you know what I mean? Like, you like when you guys throw a concert, you want a few hundred people to show up. That's the goal. And like, a lot of them can be your friends, but you also want a bunch of random people to show up. You kind of just want it to be a big thing because, like, when you're doing big things, your friends are doing big things. And when your friends are doing big things, your friends' friends are doing big things. And then your whole net is fucking having a good time.
That's how it's supposed to build, you know? It's
exactly.
Like you bring the people, the musicians are good, but like say a guy's there like selling t-shirts and now he's selling more t-shirts, now he's making more money, now his brand is working. The venue also has a bunch of people there, so now the venue is moving so they can invest in new stuff. Like success breeds success for everybody.
People can,
so it's just better if everyone's winning because then everyone's winning. But you got to know, the other thing is I think a lot of people, I'm sure it's not just the city. I can't speak about other cities, but I know that at least here,
has a different vibe, dude.
Everyone's very tunnel vision into their own success.
Yeah, after traveling, dude. Well, and like I think a lot of like bigger cities are more just like lost in so much.
Oh yeah, so it's like a whole world.
But like there are like the certain cities that are just a slightly bigger than ours that have like a real fundamental culture in them, and I believe that we do too, but I feel like I said, it gets separated very easily, and
our cultures are just micro, we have a lot of micro cultures, at least in the entertainment industry.
I don't know much about like I know we're known for like a lot of haunted stuff in Ohio.
We do have a lot of haunted stuff.
There's a lot of haunted stuff, so I'm sure that community is huge. And then but musically, dude, I remember
even the music microcultures, they're like EDM scene is so much different than like the indie scene, and like they all support specific venues for specific things, which is kind of natural in that way. It is.
But like what I'm talking about, like this, I before I wasn't as like willing to be supportive for something I didn't like, but now doing this, I've opened that eye to like I may not like it. Like my brain goes, oh, I don't like that sound. Yeah. But I can be a human, be like, I like what you do because you're working fucking hard and you're doing your thing. And there's nothing but admiration for doing that. And that's what I'm getting now. And that's what the point I'm getting in life, is support everything if they're fucking grinding, because
that's the same no matter what.
Yeah.
Hard work is hard work.
Hard work is hard work. And like, that's the key to success.
That's what I respect more than anything else. Yeah, it's fantastic. You guys have been working hard as hell. I mean, clearly, it's like a lot of people would only have one thing. Like they would only have a podcast, and then when they're not doing the podcast, they're just like working on the podcast, kind of in the background. It's like, you guys have that, plus the films, plus
the service work for people,
right?
You know, like doing,
like you got your own original films, plus you got your business doing it as well. It's like, that just shows that you just don't want to stop.
No.
Because you like doing it.
We're not quitters, man, over here.
Because if you didn't like doing it, you'd be like, I'm not going to do all these things. And you got to go to places that are kind of, that's the thing, when people like, they want to turn a hobby or like a fascination into a professional thing. Yeah. They want to make money off it.
It takes years a lot of times.
One, it takes years. Two, you have to go into uncomfortable places. They're like, oh, I want to be a photographer. So then they make a post like, hello, I'm a photographer now. Give me money. And then no one books them, and they're like, "What the hell? What's wrong?"
It's
like,
I don't feel
well, you have to like,
yet.
you got to spend hours. It's like a job. It's like how many hours a day do you spend trying to get gigs?
Yeah.
And they're like, "What do you mean?"
Well,
it's like clock in at 9 a.m. at your job, which is, what you want to do, right? I mean, it's a job. So then you work for the hours.
Exactly.
They're like, "Oh, I didn't want to. I got this job because I didn't want to like work." It's like, well, you're never gonna make money. Comes from work. So too many people want like. They just want passive income or like get rich quick stuff.
Until you finally like give yourself value. Like, okay, look at everything around you. Look at you. What is that compared to you? What are they doing compared to you? What can you hold to your value from that example? You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
And that's what we've started to do, like everybody's always told us like, you need to take yourself more serious. You need to take yourself more serious. Well, guess what? I started taking myself more serious.
Now they're scared. Oh, damn. Now they're like, whoa, he's gotten too powerful.
Dude, seriously, man. Like it's I'm a real big believer in manifest destiny, Yeah. I talked about wanting to start visualizing things more because I did that with the movies. I stare into space for the movies, but like visualizing like something besides art, like my own, like, then again, I guess that is that. I guess I am visualizing my like a future per se.
Yeah, I mean, visualizing, I don't know, when people say visualizing, like sometimes I feel like they mean, like closing their eyes and kind of like imagining a world, but it
could be daydreaming. It could be daydreaming.
Yeah, it can be kind of more of like bits and pieces, like
the
little
work you're putting towards
things.
it and thinking forward about what it's gonna be. That's kind of visualizing. Right. I've talked about like trying that, but like I don't know if that would actually help anything.
I say like so much of everything is unknown.
Yeah.
It's like when I started bands, like I had a whole idea of what I thought it would be. Yeah. And then you start it and you're like, uh-oh, it's not exactly like that at all. Same with starting like any company that I've worked at. I'm like, at the very beginning, it's so fun. Like, even like a podcast. It's like, okay, we're going to do a podcast. It's going to be like this. It's going to be great. And then you do it for a while and it's like, it wasn't quite exactly the way I thought it was going to be. But now you can either just learn and be like, okay, well, I'm on this step now. So it's like, then you learn where you are, you do this step. Really, it's like, it's all about perspective.
And there's levels too, man. Like you hit stumps. Levels. You hit stumps. Like I've realized that I'm at one right now. Like I was like, I like figured out how I wanted to do the podcast. I started like filling into like, because at first I watched the first few and this is how I did it. You talking to me? I'm talking to you. And I was just so excited. And now I'm like more calm than in my like mind of like how I want to convey it, just by learning, by editing and watching what I do on the podcast.
Yeah.
And so just those little lessons of learning how to become what inevitably I want to see, like if I was a viewer, that's, that works into everything. And that's an example of that, at least for me, in my
any successful person that I've seen, like they all say that they wish they would have done that more.
Dude,
they're like, what does it feel to be so successful? How did you do it? They're like, really? I wish that I, instead of like doing those other things that I did, I would have just like went home and studied like comedians would be like, I just want to show, I would have like just watched my sets and, not gone out drinking and had my heart broken, and like that all wasted so much. Like I could be a double more successful person than I am now. True. I'm already successful, but I could be double that if I would have just like paid closer attention to what I was doing and appreciated it instead of like kind of taking it for granted in the moment.
That's a beautiful point, man. I mean, honestly, and that's what I was talking about with Barnstock, man. Like I felt kind of a little shitty, but I was there and I was trying to take it in. As long as you're like trying to like be in the moment.
Yeah, you already made the decision to like show up. Most people, if they feel even a little shitty,
wouldn't even show up, man.
They'll look outside, see some clouds, like, no, not today.
But you showed up. You showed up today and you show up every day, man. That's what I like about you. I'm a big fan of you, man.
I'm a big fan of you too, dude.
Well, dude, I want to thank you so much
great talking with
for
you, man.
coming out to the podcast.
Anytime.
Dude,
anytime.
When you have in-house live guests, I want to be your first in-house live guest, dude.
Guaranteed.
I'm on the book. Write me down.
We're working on it.
I think so. Did you get that piece I was talking to you about, or did you figure out a new way?
No, well, we're trying to figure out a place to move it.
Okay.
So we're going to get like a whole location and like build out a whole thing.
I'll help you with setup, dude. I mean, look, I'll help you with set design.
Yeah.
Sure. Seriously.
We could definitely use some help in that
Seriously,
department.
I'll help
We're
you.
not designers,
dude,
by any
it's
means.
It's not too crazy. I did it for a while on a show.
No, this thing looks great.
Dude, thank you. I appreciate it. Everyone tells me it's really relaxed.
Yeah, and I like the colors. Like, it's very consistent. Yeah. I'm a big fan of symmetry. I just love that.
We're going to use it for a short film here soon.
Yeah? Mm-hmm. I'm excited to see those too, by the way.
We got an idea to tell you about after this podcast too. But anyways, thank you so much, Mike.
Hey, thank you, man.
Thank you so much. I'm coming on yours too. This has been Talking to Me, Talking to You. You guys have a good one.